Go back a couple feet. I'm going to ask what I'm going to ask is if any of the uniformed service members can come on up to the front, if you would, please. Appreciate that. My family, why don't you come up here and stand over here so you can get a good look at what's going on. So my family, immediate family, kids, and so forth. You keep Jonathan over there. Everybody walk past Jonathan and just leave him in the corner so he can get out. Uniformed service members, you're going to come up and all of you could stand here, except for General usually stand down here if you would. Carissa, if you want to come over here, you may. Jamie, if you're a service member and you'd like to stand along the side, if you're a former service member, you've served in the military at some point in time, I'd ask you, just come on and stand on the two sides if you would. We're going to have attention to orders when this is done. And I'd rather have you folks on the side where you can not block anybody else, but just stand on the side. And Dad, I don't know if you want to stand up or not, but if you can just move there if you want to. If you want to sit down, you can sit down. Run to find a place on one of the aisles there. If you Sir, when you speak at some point, we'll need to get you. Can you use one of the microphones from back there, please? I think we're ready to go. I'm going to disappear because my general will handle things from here, sir.
Thank you, Chaplain Taylor. It's on.
Yes.
Thank you, Chaplain Taylor. I want to thank the congregation of First Baptist Church of Morrisville for inviting us to worship with you here today. It's a real honor to be here, and there's a couple of real honors taking place this morning. We're going to be able to promote Chaplain Taylor here in a moment, but also one of our traditions in the Army, especially the Army Reserves. I should first introduce myself. I'm Brigadier General John Turner. I'm the commander of the Atlantic Division over at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and that's the unit that Chaplain Taylor is our division chaplain in. I actually, the Army Reserves is different, a little bit different from the National Guard. I know that Sean is here with us from the National Guard, and the Guard are based on states. The governors are in control of the National Guard until they may be federalized or called to war by the president. Whereas the Army Reserve, we're a federal force. We serve all over the country and different parts of the world. I think there's about 30,000 Army Reserve soldiers deployed as we speak this morning at different parts all over the world. And we have my headquarters is over at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and I also have units up at Rhode Island and down in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and also in Maryland. So we're spread out a good part of the country. But one of the things we like to do, because like the Guard, the Reserve soldiers also have a civilian job. My civilian job, for instance, I work at the Centers for Disease Control down in Atlanta. I do not work with the people that are touching anthrax or smallpox. Don't worry about that this morning. I'm not a scientist. I'm on the Office of Communication. But that's my civilian job. And as we go down the row here, you'd hear that each one of these soldiers also has a civilian job. And to be able to serve in the military, in the reserves or the Guard, we need cooperation from our civilian employers. And we often go out and recognize and thank the civilian employers for helping to, keep our job when we're gone off for exercises or going off to deploy for the numerous wars that have been taking place for the last 13 years. And so, first of all, I want to thank Chaplain Taylor's congregation, because you are his employers, and I want to give you all a big hand for letting him serve. And as you all appreciate, just as the families sacrifice when their soldiers are off serving in the military, serving the country in various capacities, either at home or deployed overseas, that this is a real sacrifice, and that's a real sacrifice to the employers too. And I know at my home church in Atlanta, we always we miss our pastor when he's on. So I know the same occurs here And we appreciate your support for Chaplain Taylor when he's out serving the country. As he mentioned earlier, our division, we train soldiers for combat operations. We train battalions and brigades, which are units of anywhere from 500 to 2,000 soldiers. And we train the commanders and their staffs so they can operate either in a combat situation or some kind of emergency situation like recovering from a hurricane or earthquake or something. We call that mission command. And an important part of every staff is the chaplain and the chaplain's assistant. We call it a unit ministry team. And Chaplain Taylor has been just the key leader in our division, and we have 5 divisions in our training command. That's why he's not only supporting our exercises, but other division exercises, because he's such an expert in this. And we just, again, thank him for his service in this area, because if you don't train, we like to say in the Army, you have to train as you fight. So if we go to war, we need to be able to train our chaplains so that they're able to provide all the great support they do for soldiers when we deploy. And just to give you a little historical note of how important the chaplains are to the U.S. Army, that barely 6 weeks after the Continental Congress established the Army and the first branch of the United States Army, the infantry, during the beginning of the American Revolution, a second branch was established upon orders of General George Washington. And General George Washington wrote, quote, "The blessing and protection of heaven are at all times necessary, but especially so in times of public distress and danger." And with those words, the Chaplain Corps was established. And military chaplains have ever since been a source of comfort and inspiration for the men and women of the armed services, and perhaps never more so than with the wars we have going on right now. Service members who are deployed experience stress not only from combat, but separation from their families, seeing their friends injured or killed in combat. There's a lot of hardships, and as we all know from the press, the military is under a lot of stress from 13 years of war, and the chaplains are one of our frontline leaders that help to provide comfort to soldiers and their families when they have questions about loss or depression or just need someone to talk to. The chaplains play a great role in that. As Chaplain Taylor mentioned, we have got a lot of, through all the various Christian denominations and even some non-Christian denominations, have chaplains that provide this service to the military, and we're very grateful for that. Thankful to George Washington and the Continental Army that they established that early on. And then, as many of you probably know in the congregation, Chaplain Taylor has served quite a few years in the military. Today is actually his 25th anniversary of being in the Army. So that's a great milestone by itself. He's deployed twice, as your congregation knows, to the Middle East, and he has continued to provide leadership either overseas or back with my unit. I personally thank Chaplain Taylor for the great counsel and wisdom and faith guidance that he gives myself and our unit. It's not, the military is a special place where you can say you have your own chaplain, and I think that is a great blessing that we have Chaplain Taylor as part of our team. Chaplain is considered part of the command team, and is a crucial part of that. Well, at this time, without any further ado, we'd like to proceed into the promotion ceremony. It's a great privilege as a commander to be able to promote soldiers and give out awards. And today, as I mentioned, 25 years that Chaplain Taylor has served in the service, and I appreciate being a general officer. You got to go up the ladder, all these steps. But I also appreciate the fact in the Chaplain Corps, it is such a small branch that I think they only have like 2 or 3 general officers even in the Chaplain Corps. So it is a huge achievement to reach the level of colonel in the Chaplain Corps. I know this also because my father-in-law is a retired Army chaplain. So I've heard all about the Chaplain Corps. Yes, there's some politics in the Chaplain Corps too. But I know that God helps them negotiate all those trials and tribulations of being in the military, and it's just an incredible achievement for a chaplain to achieve the rank of colonel. And here again, thank you back to the congregation to support him. And most of all, thank you to the family, to Lois, and all the children. And got the list here so I don't leave anybody out. Caleb, who I knew came in all the way from Missouri to be here today. Jamie, Joshua, Jonathan, and Chris. And thank you all for the support you've given your dad along the way. So with no further ado, at this time, I'd like to call our military element here to attention. Group, attention. And Chaplain Taylor, please post. Why don't you get off to my flank and so post the orders.
The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in your patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities. In view of these qualities and your demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, you are therefore promoted in the United States Army Reserve from Lieutenant Colonel to Colonel, effective 23 July 2014.
Go up. Let's give him a big hand. Stand at ease, and would like to give the new colonel a couple moments to.
You may be seated. I want to thank you all. I wanted to do this here because for me, you folks have had just as much a part of this as I have in this entire endeavor. I want to thank, first of all, General Turner in this sense, in that I've been when I first came on board, I don't know if you remember that first day, sir, when I came in your room to interview, but I told him I thought that we needed to train chaplains, and for many, many years we've not trained chaplains as we trained the other officers. And he bought into that, hook, line, and sinker, and some generals would say, you know, you're our Atlantic Division chaplain, you're going to stay here, I don't want you going to Great Lakes Division, Pacific Division, you're our chaplain, let them do their own stuff. He did not say that. He graciously shared me with all the other units, which is why I've been so active this last year, and we've really done a great deal to help them out in that way, and that's and so I would have never been able to do what I'm able to do today if he hadn't supported me in that way. And he also writes my OERs, which is Office Evaluation Reports, and he top blocked me for the last 2 times, which, and if you don't do that, you have little chance of getting promoted, so I can say that he really had a great part, as well as the others that rate me and so forth in doing that. So I really appreciate them. I, of course, appreciate my family, Lois, with two deployments and so forth. We first came in, she said, you're not supposed to be a chaplain. And, you know, when I was first thinking about it, and I said, well, I said, look at my ordination. I pulled out my ordination testimony, and it said in there, I'm called to be full-time Christian service as a pastor at this point in time. And when she read that, it was like a light bulb went off. Oh, I didn't realize that was in there. So we pursued this, and was able to get in. And I thank the family, all of them. Jamie still doesn't forgive me for being gone for her 14th birthday, was it? 16th birthday. So that's how you can pay for college by going. I'm not going. You missed my 16th birthday. That's the way it goes. But it's great. But I do want to say thank you to all of you because, again, ministry to the military, whether we like the military, don't like the military, like the wars, don't like the wars, no, we like the wars. But, you know, we have soldiers there, and they need people to minister to them. And that's what I do. I'm their pastor. And the one case kind of sticks out of my mind was when I was in Kosovo. First deployment, there was a lady that was a civilian who was a contractor, was sent down to Kosovo from Germany to do her job down there. And we held church services, 2 chaplains, mornings and evenings, and Bible studies and everything. And when I think she was getting ready to go back to Germany, she was there 6 months, and I was there a little longer. She said, with Chaplain Taylor, I said, I want to thank you for being here. She said, when I left Germany, I thought I was going to have to put my faith on hold. But you and the other chaplains have been here, and I've been able to continue to grow in my faith. And thank you for being here. And that was one of the things that caused me to realize that our soldiers who are believers, and there are many of them who love the Lord Jesus Christ that are out there serving their country, that if someone doesn't raise their hand and say, I'm going to serve them and help them, they won't do that. And a lot of chaplains say we can't get churches, nobody will employ us, and they have all kinds of difficulties, but you folks have been great while I've been here. And it's a tribute to all of you and all of us that we've been able to minister together as missionaries to the military and encourage them. So thank you for your part. God bless you all. This concludes the actual ceremony. I want to thank all of these gentlemen also for being here. Let's make a quick introduction here. This is Major Drummand, who is the lawyer, as I said before, our group, good friend. He loves the Lord Jesus Christ. He's a judge in New York City, Staten Island, and comes down and does this duty. He always comes to my services whenever he's available. Loves the Lord. Staff Sergeant Webb was a youth pastor for a short while in his career. He's the one that takes care of me and makes sure I don't do anything that makes me a lieutenant again. And when you deploy a chaplain and a chaplain assistant, I am not a combatant. I'm the only one in the military who never carries a weapon, can't touch a weapon, can't shoot a weapon, and he is my protection. So when you go out someplace and you're going out, you always take your chaplain assistant with you who takes care of you, and he's done a great job. Sean, of course, married into the family. He and Carissa both served for 9 years and then got married, and Carissa left the military so she could raise a family in case Sean got deployed. He's currently on active duty orders with the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, and thank him for being here. He wears a uniform a good many days of the week, so wearing it another day was a real sacrifice for him. Chaplain Garcia is a great friend of mine. We've been together ever since I went to the reserves. When I went to the 77th training to the 75th Sustainment Brigade, I was the 113th Chaplain Detachment underneath that brigade. And he was actually in the Coast Guard for how many years? 21 years before he came to the military, to the Army. And so he was actually deployed as a Coast Guard commander overseas in Kuwait and so forth. So he had a great deal of experience. Decided to become a chaplain, came over to the Army, and came in about the time that I transferred. And so while he's been much longer than I am and is much older than I am, I've got more chaplain experience than he has. But when he came over to the Army, he had to do all these chaplain courses to get trained up. And so while he was gone doing those things, I functioned oftentimes as the brigade chaplain at the 77th Sustainment Brigade. When I left that command, he took that command over from me and was deployed to Afghanistan for how long?
About 10 months.
10 months over in Afghanistan, and so he was the chaplain over Afghanistan, so I appreciate him. And of course, the lieutenant is the general's aide and takes care of him, makes sure he doesn't shoot himself either. We always need somebody who takes care of, as my chaplain takes care of him, he takes care of the general and does a great job. So I want to thank all of them. They've come from long distances, some of them, to be here, and so I appreciate them being here. So at this point, we'll dismiss, and the refreshments outside, back in the back. If you're here for the second service, it will not start right at 11 o'clock. We'll shoot for someplace around 11:15, okay? God bless you.